everyone. Welcome to LexTalk World's Talk Show presented by Clickaway Creators. Today we have Mr. Ajinkya Kurdukar with us.
Hi.
Ajinkya is a qualified company secretary and has completed his diploma in maritime laws and business laws and private equity and professional certification in arbitration, blockchain, AI from renowned institutions across. And along with, so we actually have a lot to discuss about Ajinkya. He's been TEDx speaker and a lot more things apart from this visiting faculty to University of Mumbai. But apart from this, we also have few more innovated things about him actually. Along with managing the firm in Mumbai himself, Ajinkya is also a fitness enthusiast, an amateur poet, boxer, and a passionate perfumer. So we're going to talk about all of this. So without further ado, let's welcome him to the show. Hi, Ajinkya. Welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Hi. Very well, thank you. It's really a pleasure being here. And just one addition to it, I think you missed out on my first degree, which is law. So I'm a qualified company secretary, yes, but primarily I'm a practicing lawyer.
He is a practicing lawyer. I thought that I will cover that in while mentioning all the
No problem, no
diplomas of
problem.
laws, so that will make sense.
Super.
But yeah, so he is his name is Advocate Ajinkya Kurdukar. That will actually sum up all of it.
Okay.
As I said, I tried my level best to cover things. There are a lot of different things about you that one can talk about. So let's first talk about uh, how did you came into legal fraternity? I'm not an industry; it's a noble profession.
Mhm.
So what really drove you into this space?
Well, honestly, there are two things here. One is my grandfather. He was a lawyer. He was a very renowned criminal lawyer. His father, my great grandfather, was a district judge, and somebody in my paternal family as well has been a retired Supreme Court judge. So at the back of my mind, I always had that thing. But I think the kickstart moment was when I started watching a couple of serials and watching TV. That was during my school days. One thing that I sensed is my temperament was very interesting during my school and my college days. That's when my parents and some people in my family thought that this temperament is apt for the legal profession. That was the first and probably the most hard hitting point where I started considering it. I always also was inclined to technology, science, mathematics. So of course, I mean, I had that thing as well in my mind. But considering my characteristics, considering my temperament, and the way I approach things, I think my family members, everybody thought that I should consider taking up law. And after my 12th standard, yes, I was quite convinced with it, and I was focused on it since my 11th, 12th standard, I guess.
You're
Yeah.
not really a first generation lawyer.
Not technically, yes.
Um, Being a lawyer comes with a lot of cases, of course. I mean,
Yeah.
that is given.
Yeah.
If you can sort of tell us about, I guess every case is complex in its own way, but
Yeah.
still, if you can tell us about a recent or any complex legal issue that you worked on,
Mhm.
and also the complexity around it, and what was your approach towards those complexities?
That hits me like a brick because I can't really identify one single matter as such. But okay, the one that immediately comes to my mind is a matter that we closed recently. So it was ongoing for about 5.5 years, and it was a very strange situation where my clients, three of my clients, were bombarded with cases from all directions before multiple courts. So may it be high court, may it be magistrate, may it be civil court, and so on and so forth. Not just within one jurisdiction, but in multiple jurisdictions. And interestingly, the complainant or the petitioner was one of their ex seniors, one of their ex bosses. So it was sort of an offshoot of grudge or jealousy or stuff like that. And these guys were new into the business. Yeah, they were like very young. They had no clue how to go about it. They were just figuring out their business, and all these matters just hit them with surprise, and they had nothing to do. They had nowhere to go. So it so happened that they called me frantically one day when they got a call from the cops, and they came to the office. We discussed. It was a long battle, brother, because we honestly fought for 5+ years before different courts, as I said, across India. And it is just about in August that the closure happened. They are out of each and every case around across India, and I think personally I take that as a personal victory as well, because they came to me when I was very new in the profession. I was quite young into the profession, and at the same time I was taking up those matters like a challenge, like a personal challenge, because I was also exploring things. And by the grace of God, by the grace of my seniors, and a lot many other people, I could sail through. Not even one day the client went behind bars. Not even one, single order, adverse order that was there against the client. It was definitely very, very complex, considering the nature of the complaint. But more than the complexity, I think it's a landmark in my own professional journey. So that's one thing that I would like to share here. Apart from that, we've recently closed a funding round for a blockchain company in India with a UK-based fund. That again was a big challenge. So yeah, I think these two are the ones that I can think of immediately.
I mean, brilliant, brilliant. I want to understand. I generally, because I'm not a lawyer, but I'm sort of surrounded by lawyers every now and then. So we have a lot of curiosity in terms of understanding what makes a case extended to 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. We think we hear about all these cases
Mhm.
uh, when it comes to litigation, but we'll talk about that. But before that, if you can sort of set up a context for us, what sort of cases you really take up to, or what are your key practice areas,
Mhm.
if you can guide us through that.
So my key practice areas are corporate, commercial, and transactions. That's what I focus on. That's what I have been very enthusiastic about, because I very sincerely believe that a lawyer cannot be good at multiple things, let alone other professions. But a lawyer especially cannot be good at multiple things, because we need to deep dive into each and every case to do justice to it, right? So my main practice areas are corporate, commercial, transactions, and we do a lot of arbitrations. So more or less, it's within this domain only. I avoid going into any other space. I avoid going into any other area where I don't feel comfortable, where I don't think I will be able to deliver my 100%. So that's the guiding light for me. Areas where I think I can deliver my 100% is I've chosen that to be as my practice area.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, just to add up to this, I believe you have in 2019 rewarded as Youth Inspiration of the Year 2019,
Yeah. Yeah.
and you have been TEDx Unplugged speaker and
Yeah.
a visiting faculty, as I mentioned earlier, in University of Mumbai.
Yeah.
Uh, Sort of, I guess it's all associated with arbitration, private equity, and fintech and blockchain and all these sort of things, if I'm not wrong.
Well, yes, the TEDx Unplugged talk was pertaining to AI. I have been doing
Okay.
some sort of research and my own reading, sharing my thoughts and views on different platforms about AI, because I'm extremely bullish about AI. I'm extremely bullish about blockchain and Web3. So these are the technologies that I believe will be facilitators, will be great platforms and game changers for every profession, including the legal profession, which is considered to be a very traditional one. But as I said, the TEDx Unplugged talk was pertaining to this topic only, AI in legal space. And apart from that, yes, the award was, I mean, I really enjoyed, taking that award, because I think it's some sort of an acknowledgement that you're on the right path. That's all that an award does. Uh, and yes, visiting faculty, I'm extremely enthusiastic about teaching, about sharing my views, about sort of helping students, because I enjoy doing that. B, I believe that someone who is practicing in a domain is the best teacher to explain a particular law or to explain a particular concept. I mean, somebody who's never stepped into the court, somebody who's never worked on a particular transaction can never teach students how a transaction works or how litigation works. So I have been fortunate that I got opportunities, multiple opportunities to be associated with colleges, be associated with the universities and other educational institutions. So yes, I do take up such opportunities and make sure that I do justice to it.
I mean, you mentioned a lot that you love to share your views.
Yeah,
So I would like to have your views on a few things. I
yeah, yeah.
mean, starting from I guess we have asked this to a lot of lawyers, and there are different answers to the same question. And this is regarding access to justice.
Mhm,
You see, first is how would you rate on a scale of 10, let's say, how would you rate the current legal system's drive
mhm,
towards encouraging
mhm,
access to justice? And follow-up
mhm.
question to this is there a tangible moment in closing the justice gap? It is also in reference to, the time that it takes in order to uh, take the case to its end. You see, so
Correct,
from
correct.
all those standpoints, if we can have your views on this.
Well, yes, I think there are big challenges, but I would say that the challenges are only in terms of the infrastructure, right? So in terms of the merits of the legal system, which is a topic in itself, I think it's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's almost flawless. However, the infrastructure is what slows it down. Infrastructure is what kind of takes you away from the whole objective of the legal machinery. If I'm no one to sort of rate it, but if I have to, somewhere around 6 on 10, primarily cutting the 4 points for the simple reason that the infrastructure is insufficient, and giving the 6 points because I very sincerely believe that the merits of the legal system, when I say the merits, it is the way it is constructed, barring the infrastructure, the way it is constructed. I think it's beautiful, it's amazing, and I think it's very clear with its objective. So it's not running haywire. They know what they are doing, they know where they have to go. And the best part is, since 2017-18, is as I see it, I think the judicial system also has been very active, comma proactive. So we are going to see some very ambitious changes in the times to come. And additionally, we are also going to see some ambitious changes in terms of the perspective that the judges or the entire judicial machinery has, uh, which will be very open to the changes that are rapidly having or are rapidly occurring in our society. We cannot be aloof. We cannot be unaware about the rapidly changing technology, situations. And that's something that I'm very positively looking at. And I think that thing is going to happen in the next few years. I am extremely impressed with the kind of judicial machinery that we have today, the kind of orders that are being passed, the way justice is being delivered. I think I'm quite impressed and I'm happy about it.
I mean, that's beautiful. We'll also talk about the legal technology aspect
Yeah,
of the fraternity. But
yeah.
before that, I also wanted to have your take on you see, there were a lot of changes when pandemic really happened in India, particularly. We saw some courts begin moving towards towards more remote proceedings
Yeah,
and availability.
yeah.
Now, what do you think? Is this a sustainable way or a possible way to
Mhm,
increase access to justice, in your opinion? Or is that also a issue of, as you said, infrastructure? I mean, the
mhm.
remote court proceedings. What do you think?
I think, yes, it is uh, favoring the objective of doing justice. And I think it's the best way we can tackle the infrastructural bottlenecks that we face today. I'll give you a small example is that there are multiple cases where we don't really need multiple hearings. We just need one or two hearings and that's sufficient. Unfortunately, previously when we were working in the courtrooms offline, that time, on many occasions, the matter never used to reach, right? It used to be listed, but it never reached the board. Now what happens is, because we are working remotely, because there are virtual hearings happening, the probability of reaching or probability of hearing is increased manifold. A. Second thing is, I mean, we are on 28th today. Yesterday was a landmark day in the Indian history, I would say, that Supreme Court started airing its proceedings, constitutional bench proceedings, which I think is a fundamental right, if not fundamental right, of a right of every citizen to see how the judiciary works, to know how what is the way the judiciary looks at things. And that accessibility is going to go down as a landmark development in the history. That's how I see it. And lastly, access to justice should never be denied to anybody. And honestly, infrastructural bottlenecks should be the last reason to deny justice to anyone. So I think the way things are shaping up, the way the the whole judicial machinery is adopting the technology, I think it's great. I think it's a very positive step. And lastly, see, we are 1.4b, right? And most of us today are well equipped with mobile phones, tablets, computers, at least one of these three devices, and we know how to use it. So why not make sure that this particular awareness or literacy, techno literacy, as they say, that we possess, why not utilize it for the sake of justice? We can use it. So I think it's a great step, and I am, as I said, I'm extremely bullish about it.
I mean, that's right. I mean, according to a lot of data and
Hmm.
a lot of data sites, in
Hmm.
fact, I guess even government supports this, that we have same number of I mean, our active mobile users is same that of US entire population. So I mean,
Yeah.
this is too good
Yeah.
to be
Yeah.
true,
Indeed.
and it is true actually. So yes, things can work out. I also wanted to understand in this, if I missed the answer. I mean, I don't think that you really acknowledge that, but or I guess I mentioned it that way. Um, do you think it is in terms of infrastructure, it's more of an issue of lower courts? I mean, in high courts and Supreme Courts, things are changing very rapidly. When you talk
Mhm.
about tier two, tier three cities, and the lawyers there,
Mhm.
infrastructure there, do you think we have to be more? Uh, we have to increase our pace in terms of changing it rapidly from. We have to take it upstream, not downstream. What do you think?
Hmm. I get what you're trying to say, and there is merit to it. But the way I look at it, it is every change that happens, it takes time, to percolate it to the last level, to the for the lowest level to acknowledge it and start using it. It will take time. I see it will take about 5 to 8 years maybe, but that's a short duration for a completely new technology to be absorbed in an industry or to be absorbed into a machinery. I think it's a very short time, and the benefits that we will get out of it are huge. Imagine somebody who is able to, at the click of a button, who is able to get registered documents extracted from the system at the lowest level, or let's say at the tier 4 level town or a village. We need to have this understanding that we need to keep our e-literacy process at the same pace with which we are trying to use technology in the judicial machinery. So aisa na ho ki, we have a situation where the judicial machinery is available in the tier 3 cities, but people don't know how to use it. So that should not also happen, that we should have a parallel development. The steps should be taken parallelly. And 5 to 8 years, I think and see, we are living in an era where 2011 seems to be just like 2 3 years ago, but technology wise, it is almost like a century ago. So with that increasing uh, velocity, so to say, I'm sure we will cover the whole distance in the next 5 to 7 years.
I mean,
Yeah,
that's right. I was recently hearing out a podcast, and they say that earlier the generation gap really meant 15 years, 20 years, but
yeah,
now it's just 5 years. In 5 years,
yeah,
you see things have changed and upside down. See,
absolutely.
the geo revolution came just, I guess, 6 years back in 2016, and here we
Yeah,
are. Everybody knows about it now. But before
absolutely.
that, nobody knows about what was a 1 GB charge for a month. So that is the alien thing for now.
Exactly.
But beautiful. So, okay, I've sort of touched upon technology again. So let's talk about that. Um, it is now coming to our side of the world. I mean, the legal tech finally, uh, and it has been into play for quite some time. But
Hmm.
pandemic sort of worked as a catalyst for it, ironically. So, what are the most common or most commonly used tools for you as a
Hmm.
lawyer, out of in order to support your
Yeah,
clients?
yeah. I think that's a brilliant question, and I have been very consciously using legal tech in my day-to-day operations. I mean, without naming the softwares, we use four softwares. One is there are two softwares which we use for case management. So we have a very systematic way of doing our work. So if I have completed the matters in the day, by the end of the day, each and every client gets an update along with the interim order, whatever is there, right in their mailbox. We have dashboards created for each client. Whenever we acquire a client, we have a dashboard created for them. They can access everything pertaining to their case at the click of a button. So all the documents which have been filed, everything that has happened in the court, all the conferences, notes, minutes, everything is available for them at the click of a button. Second thing is we use legal tech for being informed about the upcoming cases. So I very sincerely believe in planning and executing. And my planning lasts for tomorrow, next week, next 2 weeks, then a month, not beyond a month. That's about it. So, but then that helps me. The software helps me in terms of planning my day, planning my month, and strategizing, which is another hidden element or unspoken element of the profession, where you have to be extremely meticulous when it comes to strategizing your transactions, strategizing your litigations. Because if you are only going to work on the basis of 1 day planning, 2 day planning, you may not be able to do justice to the client, you may not be able to do justice to the matter. And that's the reason why I think using technology is definitely going to help in the long run. Thirdly, we also use the technology to conduct a lot of searches and gather a lot of data. So we are a data driven technology, data driven economy today. And we need to assess a lot of things, and we need to keep assessing a lot of things depending on the purposes. So, ranging from gathering the data about the other party or the other side from across the India, to or gathering information about a particular company, statutory information, yeah, economic information, any pending cases or litigation against them. That's another way of using technology to your advantage. And lastly, we have started using AI in our day-to-day operations as well. When it comes to drafting, when it comes to assessing the health of a company, based on the previous litigations, based on the pending litigations. So AI, there are AI tools which help you do that. So yeah, as I said, since 2000, since in fact the early years of my career, I have been very consciously using technology, and I think I will continue doing that, because I see technology as only and only as an enabler, and a great enabler. I think there's no other enabler as effective and as powerful as the upcoming technologies. And one more point is there are people in our profession where people think that the upcoming technology is sort of a competition, but I think that perspective I have addressed in a couple of talks that I have delivered in the past, where I very strongly opine that it is not a competition, but it's a collaboration that you should have with the technology. Do not be threatened. Do not see it as a competition, but as an enabler to your, so that you can perform well in your profession. So yeah, sorry, I got extended, but
Oh, no, no, that was a beautiful answer.
yeah.
I mean, uh, techie by heart can be sensed with what they are saying and how they feel about it. So I can sense that, I think. Last question that I have for you, I understand we are short on time and we are sort of
Mhm.
extending it. I am
Yeah,
sort
yeah.
of extending it for you. I don't want to do that, but still, I will not let you go before you answer this one. Um, there are a lot of young lawyers that, or young individuals who are sort of entering legal
Mhm.
fraternity. What's your suggestion for them? In a generic sense, what is the right path to choose, and how to sort of set your goals in terms of where to achieve and how
Mhm.
to find your way in legal fraternity?
Wow. One thing that I will very honestly say is that utilize the 5 years of your law school very, very consciously. I mean, two things that you need to focus on is building a strong network, B, building a strong library in your mind. You need to be very, very conscious of fast reading, interpreting and grasping quickly, using the right words. Your speech and your vocabulary should be very impressive. Your way of speaking, oratory skills play a big role in the profession. And that's about it. One should not be too pressured during their law school. And second, very important thing I think I would like to say is that one should be very patient in terms of the profession. If you're getting into the profession, keep a horizon of a few years and always turn back and see if you have made progress every 6 months. The progress should be made on three levels: one here, second in your pocket, and third, it should be in your network. If there is a progress on these three levels, I think you're on the right track. And I don't think that law students should be too pressured to perform in the first 4, 5, 6, 7 years of their career, because it is like a slowly developing brewing career. But after 8 years, you will yourself not be able to believe the kind of progress that you're making every 6 months. Then there is no stopping. So patience and consistent development is very important post your law school. You need to have a very calm, peaceful temperament, and that's about it. Yeah. And you need to be extremely excited about your profession. If you do not love it, if you get bored with it, if you're doing the same thing again and again, you need to change that. Every Monday you should wake up excited, uh, even when your clients are not paying you well, because the matter is what should excite you.
Yeah, I mean, this is the best answer I've heard, and I'm being honest. I mean, when you said that you should focus upon three, if three
Yeah.
things have changed or sort of altering or increasing
Mm-hmm.
from where you started, this, your pocket, and your network. These three things, I guess, are the core, and we generally miss these things when we hear an answer about this. So, it was a beautiful session so far, Jinkya.
Yeah,
I have really enjoyed it. I mean, I'm so glad that I got a chance to have this discussion with you.
my pleasure.
And I promise again for our viewers that we will definitely have you again, so that you can share such great insights with us
Yeah.
about legal fraternity. And as I said, we look forward to having such great chat with you again in the future on some other
Thank you.
trending topics,
Yes.
not just about you, but about the international legal industry. So thank you very
Wonderful.
much for joining us for
Thank you
today.
so much, buddy. Thank you so much. Thanks.
And for our viewers, if you like this chat with Mr. Ajinkya, I want you to like this video, to share this video, and to click on that red button to subscribe to Click of a Creators YouTube channel to appreciate what we do. And you have more coming in from industry leaders, legal industry leaders like Mr. Ajinkya itself. This was Sagar for Let's Talk World signing off. Thank you very much.